Hello English learners, welcome back to the English with Michael YouTube channel. I'm here again under a tree as I often start these videos, and I'm going to walk around the park and going to go to the centre of London today, and I want to find as many homophones as I can in London. Wait, what did you think I said? No, a homophone. So homophone is a word or two words that have the same sound but maybe a different meaning and sometimes different spelling, but not always. So one example could be red and red. Like for example, the colour red and I read a book. They're pronounced exactly the same, but they have a very different meaning. Homo means same, phone means sound. So I'm on a mission today to find as many homophones as I can in London. So it's not what you were thinking at the beginning, I imagine, but let's have a look around and see what we can find. So hopefully if you follow along at home, this video is going to be good oral practice for you. Yes, that means listening practice, A-U-R-A-L, oral practice, right? So you can listen and practice your listening skills. In addition to that, it's always a good idea, the method of shadowing. So that's where you can repeat what I'm saying after I'm saying it to try to kind of work on your accent and your pronunciation a bit more. So if you do that kind of shadowing, you're practicing your oral skills. No, I didn't misspeak. This is, I think, one of the most confusing ones because we've got a word for listening and a word for talking. They're spelled differently, but they're pronounced the same. So this is pronounced oral. That's really confusing, isn't it? But thankfully, we also have the word auditory, which is often used instead, just to avoid any confusion. So yeah, I hope you're practicing your speaking skills as well. That would be good if you can do both at the same time. But either way, I hope you enjoy the video. So maybe some of you will be able to recognise I'm in Greenwich Park today. I've said before it's my favourite park in London, and I'm going to be walking down to the River Thames today. But before coming today, I really wasn't sure if the weather would be good. I really wasn't sure whether the weather would be very good. Here is our second pair of homophones today. The first one, weather, is kind of a little bit like if. I don't know whether it will be good. I don't know if it will be good. So we're talking about if it will be good or if it will be bad. The second one, of course, is just the sun or the rain. So we're talking about the weather. I don't know whether the weather will be good. That's a very confusing one right there. So if you've seen my previous videos, some of you might recognize where we are. Let me know if you do. There's also someone over there with a much nicer camera than me. So all through the morning today, I've been working pretty hard. I haven't really been taking any breaks, so this is kind of a well-needed break to come to the park and relax. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, especially when I get down to the river. You've seen it before, but it's a really beautiful spot, so stick around until we get there. But yeah, so these days I have been working very hard, and because of that, I don't really know what day it is. I don't know what's going on. I'm in a little bit of a daze. I'm in a bit of a daze. So here's another one. These days, I'm in a daze, okay? So it's spelt differently. I put them on the screen here, but the pronunciation is exactly the same. These days, I'm in a daze. If you're in a daze, it's kind of like you're confused. You don't really know what's going on. You cannot think clearly. So for example, if it's very hot and sunny, it might be affecting your cognitive ability, and then you might be in a bit of a daze. So hopefully by looking at these differences, you can start to learn them and learn how we use them. And I'm going to try my best today to only focus on the common ones as well. So I won't share any that I think we don't actually use, because there's many homophones in English, but I'm going to try to stick to the ones that are actually useful today. By the way, this might be a good time to remind you guys that if you kind of like my videos and you want to support me and you want some bonus content, don't forget to check out my Patreon. So I kind of make bonus videos over there, random tips, more casual things like that. I also give away a free coupon so you can join one of my group conversation classes. You don't need to pay any extra. So that's a thank you for anyone who does join over there. So if you do that, thank you very much. But yeah, I hope I'm allowed to talk aloud in this park. So there's two more homophones for you. So yeah, the first one here, if you're allowed, it's kind of like you have permission to do something. I hope I'm allowed to talk here. Do I have permission to do that? The second one is loud, which means out loud. Am I allowed to talk aloud? That means, am I allowed to talk using my voice in vocalizing out loud? So this one's really common, and it's also quite confusing. I see a lot of native speakers getting this wrong as well. Allowed to talk aloud. It's quite confusing, isn't it? Let me know in the comments some examples you come up with and tell me what you might be allowed to do or what you do aloud. Maybe you're repeating what I'm saying in this video aloud. Again, that's good practice. Okay, let's continue down the park and see how far we can get away from the screaming baby. Okay, so I want to try to make this video as evergreen as I can. That means it's kind of relevant through all times. It doesn't have to be only watched now. You can watch it anytime in the future. But you might notice, of course, if you're watching in 2021 or around this time, that it's kind of life is very open here. There aren't many restrictions at the moment. And I think one reason for this is because the government has been really good at curbing the disease. Maybe that's not true. I'm just saying that, but I want to kind of introduce the word curb. So C-U-R-B, to curb, this is a verb. This is kind of like to control something or restrict something. So if you are overeating or you need to kind of go on a diet, then maybe you need to curb your eating. But the only curb that I'm concerned about really is the one where I step off onto the road. I don't want to fall when I'm stepping off the curb. So this is the other curb. This is, in England, this is spelled K-E-R-B. Pronounced the same. Might be a new word because it's a very specific one, but it's a completely different meaning. This is a noun, and it refers to this kind of lip, this edge of the path as you approach the road. So it's a little bit more specific, but there's another one, fairly common one in certain circumstances. Let's try to curb the problems, but also don't fall on the curb, I guess. I don't know. I feel like this video would be a lot better if I was more funny, if I was funnier. I feel like I'm making just a lot of really awkward dad jokes, but oh well, I hope it makes sense. I was kind of hoping I'd see lots of people here in the park playing with balls, like playing football and all that kind of stuff. But so far, I haven't seen anyone. So that kind of ruins my plan. I was going to mention there's lots of people here playing with balls, like footballs, tennis balls, whatever. So if I see them, maybe I can put the video in now. But yeah, I'm not having much luck today. But the reason why is because there's another one here where we can say, if you play with balls, maybe you lose your football, you might start to bawl. This is B-A-W-L. This one means kind of like lots and lots of crying. A really common collocation is to bawl your eyes out. You know, when I hear that phrase, I think of babies or children bawling their eyes out. So maybe there's a kid we'll find later on, he's going to lose his football and he's going to start to bawl. But I don't know, hopefully not. Hopefully we can avoid that today. Okay, here we are. We've finally found a group of people playing with a football. If they were to lose their ball, they would probably bawl. Or maybe not, because they're not children, but anyway, there is our phrase today. If there's one big flaw in London, I would say that is the flaw, right? So I think a lot of these words do depend on your accent. So in the kind of standard British accent, these are homophones. Maybe in some American accents, and maybe my ancestors' Cornish accent, it wouldn't be so much. But yeah, one flaw is the flaw. The first meaning is kind of an imperfection, something wrong, a problem. The second meaning is the one you probably know, which is the floor, the ground, right? So the floor is a big flaw because there's chewing gum everywhere. So chewing gum is a big flaw. It kind of looks dirty, it's not very nice. Okay, so after a little bit of walking, we have done it. We've arrived at the River Thames. Really beautiful spot here, and you can see kind of some of the skyline you might recognize on the horizon over there. Unlike the flawed Flaw, however, this right here is a really great grate. Okay, that was a really bad joke, wasn't it? So we've got the first one, which is an adjective. This is great, which means like amazing, really good. And the second one, which is a bit harder, less common, is, so this one is the noun, which is grate. It's spelled a bit differently, but a grate is kind of like a metal, maybe metal bars that kind of hold something together. It's like a lid on something. So any of these drains on the floor, these are grates on the floor. I'm not very good at explaining things when I'm walking. It's hard to kind of think and walk at the same time, but I guess it's a skill I have to get better at. But here's some kind of like old abandoned pier. And if we look through the railings or a little bit further away, you can see the O2 arena over there. It tries to focus. And then to the right of that, we've got these kind of cable cars that run across the river, which I've never been on, actually. I've never had any reason to, but maybe I could do in the future. So this kind of skyline of buildings over here, this is the skyline in East London, and it's kind of known as the Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs. You know, very much like the Isle in British Isles, meaning island. You know, not to be confused with the aisle in a supermarket, which is kind of the row of food that you can walk down. You have maybe the frozen aisle, the fresh produce aisle, different kind of aisle, another homophone there for you. Okay, here is a beautiful quay. Okay, maybe not so beautiful, and yeah, maybe not so special. I'm sure you know the word quay, right? But maybe a more beautiful quay would be one of the quays behind me. So quay is spelled very differently, Q-U-A-Y. It's kind of another word for harbour, a place where boats go. There's one quite well-known one, a bit further up the river from me here, which is the West India Quay. And the warehouse over at the West India Quay, according to Wikipedia, was used to store a lot of imported goods from the West Indies, such as sugar and rum and that kind of stuff. So there's a West India Quay. I think these quays are much more beautiful than the one I just showed you there. But yeah, I found quite a nice spot here. It's a really, really beautiful scene, as you can see. I have seen many like it, that we've got another pair of homophones. So a scene, like a background or something like that, a beautiful place. Seen is the past participle of see. So I have seen many scenes. Okay, and we've got birds, as you can see, birds which are soaring by, which soaring means like flying through the air really, really fast, to soar. And again, here's another one with past tense of see. I saw a bird soar. I saw a bird soar. This is another one that might change depending on what accent you have. But yeah, maybe if you're able to make sentences with these words individually, it might make it much easier if you don't have to use them in the same sentence, right? That makes it more confusing, but I thought it might be a fun way to present them today. Okay, let's head back to Greenwich again and see what we can see over there. I wonder if there'll be any more scenes. Oh no, look, there's a buoy in the river. There's a buoy in the river. It's probably not what you think. Let me show you what I mean. So here is the buoy, okay? So don't worry, it's not what you were expecting. It's spelt slightly differently. So here we're talking about this kind of yellow floating thing. Usually, you know, it's a marker of something. It holds something in place, I guess. I don't really know. But yeah, this probably can lead to some confusion. We've got another homophone there for the word boy. Got a floating kind of plastic boy, and then of course a real life boy, a young male child. And if you look in the sky up here, you can see a plain plane. Yes, it's a very boring plane. It's not very exciting. It's rather plain. This adjective means boring, simple, nothing exciting, nothing interesting. So it's a plain airplane, a boring airplane. Can you see the plain plane? There's actually two of them. Which one do you think is more plain? So what do you think? Are you impressed that I'm able to find so many? I think I've still got one more in me. Let's see if we can go one more homophone today. Okay, the final one today, if you can hear me over the sound of the waves crashing, is this one here. Did you know that London has beaches. Granted, not many beaches, and also they're not very big at the moment because the tide is all the way in. But here is one example of a tiny beach on the River Thames. But it's not the only beach we have in London too. So this beach is spelt B-E-A-C-H. Let's have a look at the other one I'm talking about now. Okay, and the other type of beech is a tree. And I'm almost certain that this one is not a beech tree, but maybe I can put the picture on the screen here. So this is another set of homophones. We've got beech, the sandy beach by the sea or the river, and we've got a beech tree as well. Of course, the tree is a much less common word, but here we've got maybe a beech tree. One of these trees in the background here might be a beech tree. So maybe you'll find a beech tree at the beach, for example. So finally today, I'd like to ask for some compliments. You know, I'm not very confident doing this kind of stuff, so let me know how I did. If you think I did a good job, leave me a compliment in the comments below and tell me I did a good job. If you don't want to say that, then don't be too mean, but you know, you can be honest. So I hope that my lesson today complemented this environment. So these words are almost the same. The second one here is spelt with an E instead of an I. And this one kind of means it matches something else, or it suits something better. So a more kind of an easier example would be, say if you're in a restaurant, you want to have wine and cheese. I don't know why that's a common combination, but people will say, this cheese really complements the wine. In simple words, it goes well together. So give me a compliment if you think that my lesson today complemented this place. I think that makes sense, but let me know what you think. Okay, thank you so much everyone for watching this video today. I'm sat here in the middle of the park now. You can see behind me the observatory here. This is the Meridian line, which we spoke about in a previous video. Maybe you can watch that if you click the link up here. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I kind of try to think of new ideas of things we can do outside. I kind of want to show you some of the beauty of England while maybe doing little English lessons here and there as well. So this one was kind of an introduction to homophones, and I think some of them might have been new for you today, so hopefully that was the case. But yeah, let me know what you think below. Give me your feedback, and more importantly, do your best to leave a comment practicing some of these homophones. So you don't have to use them both in the same sentence. That's a bit more confusing. But even better is if you can think of some new homophones. So any more that I missed today, I tried to cover as many as I could, things that I could see around me. But if you think I missed anything, leave a comment below and let me know what else I could have said. Okay, thanks again for watching and have a fantastic week. See you later.